They say when God created the world, he made everything in pairs, light and dark, hot and cold, man and woman. But there was one thing missing. He searched high and low until he found her, an enigma, a puzzle with eyes as deep as the cosmos. A being both alluring and terrifying, the first demon Lilith. As beautiful as she was wild, untamable, a spirit of the void that whispered to the unborn potential of man. And so God knew she needed someone to match her intensity, someone who could balance her chaotic energy, someone like Samael. Samael, the angel of wisdom, once walked the celestial halls of heaven. His wings shone brighter than the morning star, and his very presence calmed the storms of the cosmos. But the whispers of forbidden love are a dangerous melody. And when they reached his ears, he felt the pull of something he couldn't understand. When God saw this, he knew it was time to bring them together. So he led them to the Garden of Eden, a place of tranquility where love was supposed to bloom. But even in paradise, shadows lurk. And soon their forbidden love would ignite a war that would shake the foundations of the universe. Deep in the heart of Eden, where the air hummed with divine energy, Lilith danced. Her movements were hypnotic, her laughter echoing with otherworldly charm. And when Samael saw her, he was captivated. Her beauty was like a supernova, explosive and awe-inspiring, and he found himself drawn to her like a moth to a flame. But their connection went beyond physical attraction. They understood each other in a way that surprised them both. She saw the turmoil in his angelic eyes, the conflict between his duty and his desire. And he saw the loneliness in her, the longing for acceptance, for a love that didn't fear her power. And then their eyes met. Time stood still. The whispers of the cosmos faded away, and all that mattered was the undeniable pull, the magnetic force that drew them together. In that moment, they knew their paths had been intertwined by fate. Their love story wasn't supposed to be this way. It was a cosmic joke, a cruel twist of destiny that pitted angel against demon. But love doesn't always need a reason. It just happens, like a shooting star streaking across the night sky, leaving a trail of wonder and chaos in its wake. As days turned into nights and weeks into months, their love intensified. They explored the boundaries of Eden together, seeking solace in the quiet moments away from prying eyes. They shared their deepest fears and desires, their laughter echoing through the ancient trees, their whispers carried by the evening breeze. But the garden walls had ears, and soon word spread of the forbidden romance, the angel and the demon, united by a love that defied the laws of the universe. And when God learned of their secret tryst, his anger burned hotter than 1,000 suns. He confronted Samael, his voice booming like thunder, shaking the very foundations of Eden. "How could you, my trusted angel, betray my command? How could you love a creature of darkness when your essence is light?" Samael looked down, unable to meet God's gaze. He didn't have an answer. He couldn't explain the magnetic pull he felt towards Lilith, the way she made him question everything he'd ever known. All he knew was that he loved her, and he couldn't deny it any longer. "I'm sorry, God," he whispered, his voice heavy with regret, "but I can't deny what my heart feels. I choose Lilith." In that moment, God's face contorted with rage. He unleashed his fury, turning the Garden of Eden into a battleground. Vines whipped like pythons, flowers turned to venomous snakes, and the very air crackled with divine power. But even in the face of God's wrath, Samael stood his ground. He spread his wings, once symbols of wisdom and enlightenment, now tainted by association with the forbidden fruit of love. "I choose Lilith," he cried out, his voice echoing with newfound strength. When Lilith heard his words, she knew she wasn't alone. She had an army of shadows and whispers, of those who had been cast out, misunderstood, ostracized for being different. Together with Samael, they formed a formidable force, a rebellion against a heaven that had never embraced them. The war that followed was epic. Angels clashed with demons, their weapons of light and darkness colliding in a symphony of destruction. The very fabric of the universe trembled as the battle raged on, tearing at the seams of existence. And in the heart of it all, Lilith and Samael fought side by side, their love a guiding light in the chaos. Their combined powers were a sight to behold, a dance of shadow and flame, of raw, untamed energy that shook the heavens and the hell. But the war took its toll on them. Every fallen angel, every demon slain, tore at their souls. And Lilith, marked by ancient symbols of power, bore the weight of a legacy that predated the dawn of time. She was more than just a lover to Samael. She was his equal, his partner in this cosmic rebellion. And his love for her only grew stronger in the face of adversity. Yet even in their darkest hour they held on to hope, the hope of a new dawn, a world where angels and demons could coexist. Where love wouldn't be a battlefield, but a bridge. After an eternity of war, the final battle came. Samael and Lilith stood before God, their armies at their back, ready to face the wrath of the universe itself. But this time, it wasn't just about love. It was about acceptance, about proving that love, even in its most forbidden form, deserved a place in the grand tapestry of existence. God looked at them, his eyes filled with sorrow, but also a flicker of understanding. In that moment, he realized that love wasn't something to be controlled or contained, but something to be cherished and nurtured, even in the face of the impossible. And so he made a choice. The heavy heart, he withdrew his forces, ending the war that had torn the universe asunder. And in the aftermath, something extraordinary happened. Angels and demons, former enemies, came together. Laying down their weapons of war, drawn together by the unifying force of love, it wasn't easy. There were years of healing, of rebuilding, of learning to trust and understand one another. But as the wounds of war slowly faded, a new era dawned, an era of coexistence, of peace and understanding. Lilith and Samael, once outcasts, became symbols of this transformation. Their love, once forbidden, now a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love could find a way. Yet as their story echoes through the ages, let us remember, true love isn't just about passion and devotion. It's also about courage, about fighting for what you believe in, even when the whole universe seems stacked against you. So if you ever feel lost in a world that doesn't understand your love, take heart. The tale of Lilith and Samael reminds us that love, in its many forms, deserves a chance to grow, to heal and to inspire, even in the face of the greatest odds.